I always answer this question by sport. I just can't answer it, so I'm going to give my standard answer by sport, all right? With regard to basketball, there was a triple overtime game with the Phoenix Suns in '76. Still resonates as an incredible event. So many things happened that night, and all the background to it, which was the Suns weren't supposed to be an issue, but they were playing great at the time, blah, blah, blah. You have that. Bird, we can go into Bird, I'm sure we will before it's over, but a couple of Bird games. They came in 1984 when it was 97 degrees Fahrenheit in the Garden due to the heat wave and the fact that the Garden was unair conditioned. And the Lakers were literally sucking on oxygen, the tank they had brought in, and Kareem was miserable. I wish he had been anywhere but Boston Garden. Bird got 34 points, 17 rebounds, and 15 to 20 from the floor. So a little triumph of mind over matter there. Then game 6 in '86, the best individual game I ever saw anybody play, other than Magic Johnson's great game against the Lakers in 1980. You got to read up on that one. When he was 20 years old and scored. Kareem was home with a sprained ankle, and he had 42 points, 15 rebounds, 7 assists, and played all 5 positions. That wasn't bad. Football, it's easy. The last game in the old stadium, Schaefer Stadium, when the Tuck Rule game, the so-called Tuck Rule game, which ended with 49-yard field goal in the snow by Vinatieri. That night was really something. That was the football game. And baseball. In 2004, it's not one thing, but the totality of games 4 and 5. After the Red Sox have lost game 3, 19-8, Saturday night, down 0-3, doom and gloom, naturally. No team in baseball had ever come from a 3-0 deficit. There was no way that there was no positive anything to look at. And games 4 and 5, which, as you know, had included the famous 9th inning with the walk, the steal, the single, and then Poppy hits the home run eventually. But the 2 games together were 11, almost with 10 hours and 50 minutes of baseball that ended on the same calendar day, because game 4 started and ended after midnight, and game 5 started at 5 p.m. and ended on, of course, later that evening. And the drama of that together. Some of you remember, especially if you're Yankee fans, you may always remember that they had the potential winning one on third base in the 14th inning, thanks to the fact that Wakefield had poor Varitek's catching instead of Mirabelli, and the 2 pass balls in a row, but the one on third. We all figure here comes one more pass ball game. The Yankees going to go ahead. He struck out Ruben Sierra, and then Poppy drives in the winning run. Yeah, those 2 together. And in college basketball, which is a very important sport for me, Villanova-Georgetown in '85 was spectacular. At that game, when Villanova shoots 22 for 29, 9 for 10 in the second half. The last game played without a clock in college basketball. And Georgetown was invincible at that time, invincible. They were playing at the peak of their game, and Villanova beats them. It was one of the great upsets. So that, and now we talk about the Olympics. I mean, I was just thinking, flashing back really quickly. I'll just say this, the greatest surprise event that I ever covered, and I went over with no expectations. In fact, I went over with trepidation, since I knew nothing about any of the sports except one, and that was the Winter Olympics in Lillehammer in 1994. And it turned out to be a magical experience. It was one of the great experiences of my life, the 3 weeks in Lillehammer. And all the things I learned would open up my eyes to the world at large, if you will, and made the Olympics a must-do thing for me from that point on.